So, everybody else asks. I haven't heard. What was your first experience?
Well, actually, it was kind of interesting. I was house sitting for somebody, watching their dog and their birds and their fish and stuff. I was maybe 10, 11 years old. I don't quite remember. So I went skinny dipping, and one day I bent over to test the water. You know how you do. Just bend over
yes,
and put your hand
it's
in
nice
water.
to know how cold it is.
Yes, and, well, their dog kind of snuck up behind me and stuck his nose between my legs. Needless to say, I was a little bit surprised, but I was like, that feels good. But then he decided he wanted a little more, so he jumped on. And at that point, I learned what it was to lose your virginity. It scared me half to death. But then it kind of started feeling good, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But then again, the other scare that I had was, oh my God, I'm going to have puppies.
I think I was like 22 the first time that I had, allowed a dog to have sexual intercourse. So it kind of just grew from there.
Oh, yeah?
But, I had dog companions in between. I've always loved the feel of fur my whole life. And my dog was always there as a good friend, soaking up tears, whatever I was going through. And I don't know, I guess it was just one night. We were snuggling in bed, and I was petting him, and he just got very curious. And, there was more of an oral thing. And, I became kind of curious about him. So, to begin with, it was more of just curiosity.
So you lost your virginity to a human first?
To a human. I was like, 15 or 16. 15.
I was 21 when I lost my virginity to a human.
It was before I was 16 because, I guess I was more curious sexually and more interested.
My problem was most of my boyfriends weren't interested in it, and I never could figure out why.
Ellie did eventually meet Ken, who shares her sexual preference.
Oh, we need to grab a couple handfuls of that smaller stuff.
Okay.
There. I'll get some of this. I was technically a virgin until I was 29 years old. I was a zoophile up until then, and I just basically didn't have much interest in other members of my own species as far as a life bond or anything. But when I met Ellie here, we clicked. It was the one person that I felt within a week probably after I met her. We were meant to be together.
There you go. Come sit over here.
Ken and Ellie met through a zoo friend on the internet. After a few weeks, they arranged their first date.
Well, the first night that he came up to visit me, I took him down to the barn to introduce him to some of my horses and some of the other horses that I enjoyed at the barn. And I took him in and introduced him to my miniature stallion. And kind of, I don't know if it was subconscious, I was very nervous and kind of wanted to do the shock factor, as it were. My miniature stallion was dropped and masturbating. When his penis is dropped and he slaps it on his belly, they call that masturbation for stallions. And so one thing led to another, and I couldn't resist, so I bent down and started sucking on him. And then he tried climbing on top of me, so the next thing I know, my pants are down, and I'm bending over for him, and I'm like, excuse me, I can't resist. And I guess part of me said, okay, either he's for real and he won't mind this, or he's not for real and he's going to be totally freaked out by it and run. Obviously, he didn't run.
No, actually, I was very tempted at the point to have sloppy seconds. It turned me on. It was so erotic to watch this, and just the whole thing. And it didn't shock me at all. In fact, I was like, "This is pretty cool." I think I found somebody here that might be on my plane here, and it went from there. And here we are, married.
Yeah. Well, I have vaginal sex with my miniature stallion. He's not a whole lot larger than most humans. He is a bit bigger, but not uncomfortably so. I like to suck on him orally, and he especially enjoys that.
I have anal sex with the miniature stallion. He penetrates me, and it's pleasurable, but it's not real intense. It's like I said, the pleasure that I get from it is more from knowing how much he enjoys having sex with me. He tends to tell me about it. He talks a lot. He grunts and wickers and blows in my ear, etc. And that is very erotic to me, more so than the physical sex.
When he's courting me, as it were, trying to entice me to bend down or kneel down, he does a lot of, I call it a hubba hubba. He just kind of goes and makes this little hubba hubba noise to me. And then once he's in, I mean, for every stroke that he does, he makes this big grunting noise. And then when he orgasms, he makes an even bigger grunting noise.
And he tends to like to hold on with his teeth, and I actually have some scars on my back from where he's bitten onto me, just hanging on. They do the same thing with mares when they have sex, and only mares have fur to hang on to. He tends to get a big chunk of skin with me. And that can be quite painful, but usually I don't even notice until after the fact because I'm so caught up in the moment. And then I get up to the house, and Ellie says, "Oh, I see you've been down fooling around. You've got a big bite mark on your back again." Look at some of this.